All right, we're back. We had some technical difficulties on the first round, but we're back with Sam. We are talking Big Block Realty. Sam, you're going to have to even give me the more condensed origin story than you did last time.
All right, origin story. I got into real estate on accident because I was pretending to go to college, got in on loans. Loans took me to getting my license, took me to buying and selling homes, and long story short, for several different reasons, about 6 years ago, we decided to start a real estate brokerage called Big Block Realty, and the vision was simple. Let's create a brokerage that we would want to work at, and I bet you other people will find us.
Inc. 500 or five? What is it?
Yeah, Inc. 500, 3 years in a row.
Nice.
So last year we were number 33 fastest growing private company in America, and the year before that 31, and the year before that 26.
That's big numbers, man. That's a big time list to be on.
It's
top 50.
It's pretty cool. It's always been a goal, and it's a trip to be on there 3 years in a row. It's such awesome numbers.
Yeah. You've started a very successful brokerage. It has great culture. It's growing a lot organically. And there's two things that I've seen, which is the brokerage offering. I hate to say it, but kind of like the shiny object that you're using to attract agents. And then on top of that, there's what you do to retain agents. So what do you think brokerages and team leaders and everything should be doing to attract, and what should they be doing to retain?
So, we talked about it earlier. There's three main things I think agents are looking for, but I'm going to reframe this for a moment. I'd say if I'm a broker owner, I really want to get real with who my perfect agent is. Like, who are you building the company for?
Yeah.
And define that in your mind. And that's really going to help the offering. But I'll tell you, after recruiting a lot of agents and losing agents and worrying about retention and not worrying about retention,
yeah,
I really believe that with everything said and all the different options, the number one retention and recruiting tool is culture and service. I believe that is where it starts and ends.
Okay.
Because look, if they come to you for money, Tim, they're going to leave for money. If they come to you, right? If they come to you for a shiny object, they might leave for another shiny object. But when you create a culture, it's really hard to duplicate that. It's really hard to copy that. It's really hard to outshine the culture that is your culture. No one can have what you have. So we just created a place that we said, look, we believe that agents are our customer. Like my customer as a brokerage is the agents. And me and my team need to wake up every day and figure out how we can continue to create a better experience for our customer who is the agent. And that's what we work on is, yes, part of it is commission. And yes, part of it is production. And yes, part of it is culture. But more than anything, we're looking and supporting our agents as our number one customer.
I like it. Brian Kochi said, what brokerage is your biggest competition?
Dude, there's a lot of great brokerages out there. I think a lot of people default to thinking it's probably the 100% shops.
Yeah.
But they're really not. Like, by the time they're going to 100%, their decision's been made. We just have to be the better of the other options.
Mm-hmm.
I think our biggest competitor is probably right now Keller Williams. We're always recruiting from one another, and I think that they've done a great job and built a great company, and I respect what they've done. So
you talk about culture and all that stuff. How do you deal with losing agents, right? Because a lot of times, like you said, I feel like a lot of people out there are making sweetheart deals to try to keep people, right? And they're focusing too much on keeping people that don't really want to be there. What's your attitude towards, the agents that are just flip-flopping every chance they get?
Yeah. Look, the same as when you're taking listings, sometimes you're not going to get some, and sometimes someone else is going to get a listing, someone else is going to get a buyer. You can't get them all. You certainly can't keep them all. For us, we have two things we really look at. One, when someone leaves, we have an exit interview and find out what we did wrong to see what we can fix.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a learning lesson. And two, we always let them go in style. A lot of our competition, when they lose someone, they make them feel like an asshole for are we allowed to cuss on it a little bit?
Yeah, I'll mark it.
All right. They make them feel like a jerk for leaving. And if you do that and they ever switch brokerages, they're certainly not going to come back to you because you made them feel like a jerk for leaving.
Yeah.
So for us, we hug them on the way out and we hug them on the way back in. And our motto in-house is sometimes they leave, but the right ones always come back. And we see it time and time again, dude. We let them leave. We make it easy. We applaud them on the way out. And a lot of times they find their way back to us. So,
man, that's such great advice. I've seen so many people have these like bad conversations with their brokers on the way out, and it's just, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, why? It's like this way with other things too. I mean, I see it all the time where you have a bad thing with another agent in a transaction. There's no reason to burn bridges in this business, right? Because you never know when you're going to need a bridge. So yeah, it's a great point. 2019 is coming up fast. Things are changing. What are you guys focusing on? What do you think agents should be focusing on building to succeed in a 2019 environment?
That's a great question, dude. There's a lot of things happening in our landscape right now that I think agents are scared of, unsure of, unclear of. I'll tell you in no order of importance. I believe that I guess this one is the number one most important, is going to be your skill set.
Yeah.
It has to be skills. And I'll tell you that your skill set and your ability to communicate and conversate, make people feel comfortable and confident, your ability to stay on track, your skill set is always going to be the ultimate unfair advantage. And more in our business than anything else, Tim, you know this, the unfortunate reality is most agents, for whatever reason, won't invest time in bettering themselves. They're just looking for the shortcuts. Is it this new lead process or this new magic wand? Where if you go back to it, I think one of the biggest challenges that agents have in this environment is there's too many shortcuts. Back in the day, dude, when I got started, the only way you can succeed was learning how to be a good communicator, learning how to be a good agent, getting on the streets, getting on the phone. So one is that. I'd say the next thing is it's never been more important to really focus on your own brand. And what I mean by brand is not like, what is your team name called or what do you call yourself as an agent? I'm talking about creating media around yourself, just like you are today.
Yeah.
There was a study that just came out. I don't know if it was on Lab Coat or what, but I read an article that right now millennials, when they choose to hire an agent, and they do, they want to hire the person that has the most influence, the one that they believe to be the most. Did you post that?
No, but I read it and it justified what I've been doing, right? The videos and all this other stuff. It's like the leverage of social media isn't in posting 5 ways to clean up your bathroom, right? Like all the stupid social media stuff they were doing a couple years ago. It's about building influence and building an audience that you can then make your clients.
That's it, dude. And look, let's look at like Josh Altman. I use this example when I talk about this all the time. Like Josh, I don't know if he's a good agent or not. I really don't. I'm assuming he is.
Yeah.
But all the damn people that hire him assume that he's a badass because he's on $1 Million listing.
Yeah.
And today, because he has such strong media and branding around him, people are calling him, I'm sure, left and right to list multi-million-dollar homes. And what happens when you create media, Gary Vee calls it right now, it's the land grab of the internet, right?
Yeah.
The land grab of the internet. And he said something at 2020's conference for agents that really stuck with me. He said, when you're the guy or girl that does something really well, you will always be the guy or girl that's chasing business. But when you become a somebody, the business starts chasing you.
Yeah.
And you got to ask yourself, like when you're going up against all these, discounts and this, and I'll sell your house as a robot, that, and everything that's out there. I believe the ultimate defense around that is being the person that people come to, as opposed to being a really good person that goes out and gets the job done.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a great point. It's like so many people are scared about the Zillows and the other stuff. But, we have a skill set, right? That like you're talking about, build your skill set. If your skill set is opening doors, you probably won't have a job, right? Like you won't. And so having a skill set that's beyond that, being a consultant, being the go-to expert is where your value lies. And I just see, what do you say about the fear-based agents that are out there that are worried that something is going to go take their job?
I'd say, good, good. Let this be finally there's something that's scaring us and waking us up, folks. Like,
Yeah.
we've been just so tired. And if you really look at our industry, we do things the same way for so long, and we've gotten so comfortable and lazy. And I say this with love. Good. Let this be your opportunity to wake up. And I'll say something I've been saying for years, and this will tie directly to the Zillow and back to what we were talking about, creating a brand in your own media. Remember this: the person that controls the lead controls the business. The person that controls the lead controls the business.
Mm-hmm.
So if all of your leads are coming from Zillow, there's probably good reason to be scared, because they indirectly control your business. I'm not saying don't buy Zillow leads. I'm not saying don't buy Realtor.com. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying when you start to create your own media and you control your own leads, you'll be less worried about all of the noise and junk that's happening out there. And I say junk not because it's not good. I'm saying junk because it's messing you up here.
Yeah.
Focus on creating your own leads, your own media, your own brand, and then let the lead sources out there be the icing on the cake.
We've got a question from the audience. Says, what is the most important platforms for most important from most important to least important? Instagram, IGTV, Facebook Live, or YouTube?
I think they're all important, dude. Look, you started by saying I need more people on YouTube. Look,
yeah,
you should be everywhere, and some of them will do better than the others. Like you're probably killing it on Facebook, and clearly you want more traction on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say what Gary says all the time: stop counting the views and just focus on on the content and the conversation and the engagement. Yep. And it will work itself out. But I'll tell you right now, I think that there's a big opportunity with Instagram Live and Instagram stories and TV and all that stuff. I think it's huge. I don't know if you saw, man, I feel like I'm fangirling Gary Vee. I keep going back.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Cups keep coming to mind. I don't know. Did you see his post the other day? And on Instagram, the post itself said, "I wish I sent more emails in the 90s." And it caught my attention. And I read the comment thread. And he says, "I see too many of you guys out there." There you go. He says, "I see too many of you people out there not posting and commenting and engaging enough on Instagram, and you're going to regret that one day." So I'll say that all of the above. You got to be omnipresent. Zabi, who asked that question, dude, you're so good at it. I don't know your YouTube game, but your Facebook game is strong. Your Instagram game is strong. You're just present. You're consistent.
Well, the thing that we're trying to work on a lot this year too is just repurposing, right? Like taking this and making sure it gets out as the podcast and gets on the YouTube channel, and like take the content you're already creating and making sure it's hitting and being repurposed on all these other platforms, so you're not constantly making more and more content. But YouTube is a place that takes a long time, and so you got to start, dropping your pennies in there by putting content on there, because that can take like 2 years for you to get the views and get the lead and get the traction. But the great thing about it is that YouTube does last for those 2 years. Or Facebook, I mean, this is great. People are going to watch it. And then I'm lucky if I get traction on this for like more than 2 weeks, right? And then it's gone. It's down the feed. And so Facebook is like current content, and you're like fighting to get the lead in that first month of putting the content out. And YouTube's forever. So definitely start investing in YouTube, I would say. That.
Someone do you see Nas Daily?
I do. Yeah, he's killing it.
Dude, that guy all he does is Facebook, right? And killing it. So I would just try to do it all. And I don't know if people really got what you meant by repurposing, Tim, but that's huge. Like, I don't know how long we'll be on this call, but certainly there's going to be good 5-minute nuggets, good 10-second nuggets, good 60-second nuggets. There's audio that turns into a podcast. It could all get transcribed into different blog articles and write-ups. So like this 1 hour could be repurposed in so many different things for you that I would say really start looking at how you can repurpose the things you're already doing and capture the stuff that you're already in the business of doing.
I like it. All right, getting on the phone. What are your favorite reasons to get on the phone with your past clients?
Well, I think the number one reason is these are the only people that actually want to talk to you. Right? Like your past clients, your database of all the leads that you have, of all the people you're trying to do business with, these are the few people that actually want to talk to you. Like anyone that's opting in online doesn't want you. They want the idea of buying or selling or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it starts with these people actually want to talk to you. Second, it's the most profitable, right? Working your past clients and your database doesn't have to cost any money, and done the right way, it's the fastest to contract with the least objections, the most profitability. They actually want to talk to you. So I'd say it's the best part of the business.
So okay, so I'm usually doing these interviews to try to steal information for myself. If other people get value from it, great. But I'm looking to follow up with past clients, right? So selfishly, I want your tips on what are your favorite reasons? What are your favorite value propositions? Like, what are your favorite tactics to do to reach out to your past clients and sphere of influence?
Oh, dude, I could go on and on about this. So
just give me like one or two, just like your the golden nuggets.
Dude, that's tough. I'll say that my favorite tactic is going to be the idea that right now you're not getting enough business from them because you've painted the wrong picture. And you've painted a picture that, for you, Tim, they're probably thinking like, dude, this guy's too busy doing interviews. And he's like trying to, I say this with love, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Picture that you're an influencer and you're everywhere and you're capturing content. And they're thinking, man, I don't want to bug Tim because dude, Tim's doing Tim. And that's awesome. But your past clients, your database, they're thinking they might be bugging you. So I would challenge you to think like, what painting are you painting? What picture are you painting? So second to that, I'd say this is my favorite strategy. And
hold on. Okay, are you going to give me the strategy to address the problem that you just brought up? Because that's definitely a problem.
Yes.
Okay.
So the problem is this. You're not calling them because you don't want to sound like you're bugging them. You don't want to seem like you're hungry for business. You have all this like drunk monkey stuff in your head that's keeping you from doing it. And also, you're not calling them because you haven't called them in so long that you kind of feel like a jerk if you call them now and ask for business. All of these things are true. I believe the best way to fix that, and you only get one shot at this, which is great because you can't allow it to not be important, is the humble "I'm sorry" call followed by "I'll give you a great line." So I'm going to call him and say, Tim, dude, my bad. Like, I care about our relationship. It's been so long. I dropped the ball. Your relationship means something to me. I haven't followed up. And now I'm going to talk about the obligatory, how's the dogs, how's the kids, how's the new roof, how's this, which they don't really want to talk about. So I get all that out of the way. And then I'm going to ask them this. Tim, what are the two most exciting things that you're looking forward to in the next year? Tim's going to tell me, oh, it's this and it's that. After I ask them that question, what do you think they're going to ask me? What are you the most excited about?
Okay, what are you the most excited about? Yeah.
Right. If I ask you, think about this in real conversation.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. You got me.
And if they don't, you say, well, since we're on the topic, is it okay if I tell you what I'm the most excited about?
Yeah.
Say, please do. So I got to tell you, Tim, as I look in the rear view and look at all of the transactions I've done, I realize that, one, I want to grow my business this year. And two, I'm really excited to grow it with my friends and my past clients' referrals because that's the business I enjoy the most. Of all the business, the best business, the one I like the most is working with your friends and your referrals. And I'm really committed to growing that part of my business this year. Hey, you know what? Since you asked, do you mind if I follow up every now and then and see if you have anybody that's thinking about buying or selling at church or at school or at work or anyone you play ball with?
I love it. I love it. That's good. That's good. I need to do that. So that was very tactical to me because, like you said, the article comes out and says millennials want to work with influencers, right? So I don't want to take the foot off the gas, but I do need to make sure I have content. I have something that's going out saying, "Hey, I'm not too busy for you. I want your business." And so it's a fun one.
And I'll tell you, Tim, I don't think that I certainly don't know. You don't know where what you're doing right now is going to take you. But one day it'll open up a door. I'm sure it's already opened up doors, and this will do what it should do because you're consistent and you're good. But on the backside, you are telling a confusing story to people that you're not telling the right story to.
Taking it to me today, man. It's good.
Hey, no, I don't, dude. I'm saying this. You asked, and I'm saying don't stop. Don't take your foot off the gas, dude. Like what you're doing is very impressive.
Yeah.
But with past clients in your database, I mean, look, dude. I don't know how big your business is, but I'd be willing to bet that the average agent is leaving a Lamborghini on the table every year.
Yeah.
By not following up with past clients center of influence.
Yeah. No, I love it, and you bring that up. We are working on a lot of messaging and some other things for the new year, and so you're definitely pushing on the points that I know need to be pushed on. So it's all good stuff. All right, Gavin Frater asks, do you guys think it's important to drop your media at the same time of the week, or do you think a more relaxed approach works better?
I'll tell you for myself, the more rules I set on my execution plans, the less it happens the way I want it to, and then the less I do it. So I'd say, like your insights will tell you when you get the most engagement. The other day I checked mine. Funny enough, it was like the most random time. It was like Monday at 11 or something. I'm thinking, who the hell Monday at 11? But so like if you want to be super methodical and analytical, follow that. But I'll say more than anything, Gavin, whatever you're going to do, like any way that you'll actually do it, just do it and don't stop. And remember, it's like anything else. Once you flip the switch, it's about just remembering to pull it out. Like you had a deal go wrong, pull it out, like and tell the story. You had a deal go right, pull it out and tell a story. You frustrated, pull out and tell a story. That's how you start to build media and branding around yourself.
And I think, this question I think comes up a lot. And, do you have this robotic social media strategy? And I really personally don't like that. I know there's plenty of analytics probably to say it's great. But for me, social media is so personal and authentic. It's like you have to post when something authentically interesting happens, right? It doesn't matter if it's Tuesday at 2 or Monday at 1. When you go in and something happens and there's a moment that you should be documenting and putting on social, you need to just do it then. So instead of looking at like what time do I post, be looking for more opportunities to document more things. And after that, I mean, sure, you can try to nitpick on certain times of the day and whatnot, but overall, just document more. Don't worry about the times as much. That's my 2 cents. All right. iBuyers. Yes. Are they legit? Are they here to stay? And what should you do about them?
Are they legit? Yeah, I mean, they're legit. They're buying homes. I don't think, I'm sure there's arguments against the legitimacy. Look, if they're taking market share, they're legit, and they're taking market share. So they're legit. Are they here to stay? I don't think they're going anywhere, and I don't think that they're new. They used to be called investors, and now we're calling them iBuyers. So like everyone wants to make this, I believe, bigger than it is. I'm more worried for commission compression than I'm worried about iBuyers.
Yeah.
Like they're just investors, dude. And yes, they're going to frame it and they're going to package it and they're going to do their thing. So are they going anywhere? I don't think so. I will tell you that I think the one thing the iBuyer, not the one thing, but one of the things that the iBuyer is doing wrong is they're packaging this as convenient and good for you as the seller, but really it's coming at a major cost. And that's not the best thing for the seller. So when someone figures out how to give them both of those things, speed, ease, all of that, and there's companies that I won't mention that are doing it. We're working on some pretty cool stuff ourselves. I believe that we're going to see some shifts there. What I believe you should do, and I'm happy to help facilitate this any way I can, is you should find your own iBuyer. I talked about this at LabCoat. Like, we're stacking our agents up with the ability to walk in with an all-cash offer in every listing you go to. Market the fact that you can be the iBuyer. And any market you're in right now, there's investors that want to be your iBuyer. And all it is a positioning and a technology thing, as simple as a web form on a website backed by the right, marketing and branding. I think you could iBuyer any team, any agent, any brokerage.
So I think I agree with just about everything. The one pushback I'll say though is that at least with the Open Door and some of the other ones that I've seen, I work in the investment space a lot. That's where a majority of my business happens. And, these guys are buying houses for more than what any local investor would pay. And so there is that. But I would say as agents too, we need to be experts on Open Door. Like, where's Open Door from? What average percentage are they buying properties at? What average percentage is Perch and OfferPads buying properties at? Because if you just go in there and say they buy properties for less, say like a listing appointment, well, I'm going to use Open Door. Well, they usually buy properties in San Antonio at 18.2% less than market value, right? Like, arm yourself with that knowledge, and then you can really play that consultant role instead of being what I think like the typical realtor out there doing is like, oh, they're the devil. Like, they're not the devil. They're just another piece of the market.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, dude. The more you know about your competitor and the data behind them, the more you sound like you know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say this in my trainings. I really believe that what your client wants more than anything is to feel comfortable and confident.
Yes.
They want to feel comfortable and confident, dude.
And clarity.
Clarity, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all in one. And when you know that in your market, they're buying at 18.2% less, plus fees, this, that, whatever. And you can speak to that not by making them the enemy, but rather saying, look, I completely understand this is a legitimate opportunity. What I'd like for us to do is spend 5 minutes looking at which one is better for you. What I know is that in our market, it's 18.2 less. You give them both. And more often than not, I think that you can do well with it. And I want to address the fact that they're paying more. I don't know that they really, I'm not saying that they don't or they do know what they're doing. I think that right now they are figuring it out and they're testing things. And so I don't know.
Well, what's interesting there is because, I mean, they're pretty, do you have a lot of this in your market? I mean, Texas, we've got all of them, right? They all come in.
We have some of it, but it's not like crazy.
Okay. But the thing is, that's interesting to me is like they're taking market share, right? And I mean, honestly, my clients send me pictures all the time of the malware that they got from Open Door, right? They're getting market share. They're getting in touch with people. So even if they're not making any money right now, they're gaining the market share. And then once they figure out their numbers, they can start to monetize it more. And that goes back to what I was saying about just like being aware and knowing, because people are a little unsure of us anyways. And whenever we say, oh, no, about anything, they always, I feel like they don't like that. And so
commission breath is all they hear.
Yeah, they hear commission breath, right? Exactly. And so just know about that stuff. But what are the things people should do to start their own iBuyer program?
I would start by every market has a local real estate investing association or group. You could go to meetup.com, go to your local market, type in investment club, find the real estate investing clubs, go there and find the quietest guy or gal in the room that's just sitting there absorbing, make conversation, and it's an easy way if you don't know investors to find investors, and then take it to the internet. So on everything that you do, you can link to a single simple site that gives people the ability to request offers either internally as a brokerage for your agents or as a marketing strategy externally to consumers. Just give it a place to live on one of your assets on the internet. And I'd say that's where it starts. You got to have a buyer, and we do this in our local market. We work with an investor that anytime an agent submits a property to them, they will return an all-cash offer in 24 hours or less. The agent gets to represent them on the offer, so the agent is, getting that extra advantage. And you can leverage it for all your marketing and everything in between. Remember the yellow letter campaigns? Did you ever do that?
Yeah. Handwritten. Yeah.
So like that's essentially an iBuyer, but it's not. It's like a note buyer. They're just on paper. Hey, my wife and I would like to buy your home. Why aren't you writing it and saying, hi, my name is Tim. I'm a local realtor. I have a client that'd like to buy your house at 123 Banana Street.
Yeah.
Please call me. They're going to call you. You're going to say, yeah, I have an offer. I can be there in 24 hours with it. You show up and you have the gig.
Yeah, we just fired up some of those, the handwritten on the piece of paper, and then we run them through the photocopier and handwrite in the address. Those are always fun.
Can I give you a thought on that?
Yeah, for sure.
I would say that when they see that, I actually have one right here. I'm actually, I shouldn't show you the name. This is an iBuyer letter that I'm sending out for a property that we actually want to buy.
Yeah.
And handwritten and everything. The thing about it is they are going to pull it out and they're going to see it's handwritten. And I believe the next thing they're going to do is they're going to put it up to the light. They're going to see, is this thing real? Did he really handwrite this thing? And the moment they realize it's photocopied, I think you lose credibility.
Ah, man, I think mine look pretty. Don't get me wrong. If they hold it up to the light, I got no shot. But I think other than that, they look pretty damn good.
So here's what I would challenge you with. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying if you could get 1% more, it more than makes up for it.
Yeah.
Go on to TaskRabbit. I found someone on TaskRabbit that will come every Wednesday, picks up the new list, all the materials, takes them home, writes them, stuffs them, seals them, stamps them, and addresses them, brings them back the following Wednesday, and I pay them like 50 cents, depending on what it is, per piece. So it's not cheap, but I don't have to worry about it. And I'm telling you, the pen,
dude, that's good.
And the imperfection of it affects conversion.
I like it. I like it.
Stamps?
So you talked about going to a RIA and finding an investor. That, at least here, can be an interesting thing to try to do to figure out who's legit and who's not, right? Because I mean, the quality of the offer you bring usually depends on the quality of investor. So as agents, how do you feel we should go about finding the best investor, the best two investors in our market to participate in this with?
Oh, that's a great question. There's, do you know who Kent Clothier is?
Yes.
Kent Clothier has a program. I think it's called Find Cash Buyers Now or something.
Yeah.
And you can go in your market and it'll pull a list, and you can probably get this from Title as well, of who's buying the most amount of homes in your market cash. Mm-hmm. And, you can just rank an order and go backwards and you'll find the people. And to your point of some people make better offers than others, what I found in our market, the people that buy more homes can afford to pay more for them. Yeah. Because they have everything more streamlined. They're buying in bulk, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So I think that public records and softwares like Kent Clothier's can help you with that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Because if you go by what people are posting on Facebook, you'll be thinking some broke people are millionaires. You don't want to.
And then you'll think some millionaires. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think some millionaires are broke people. Yeah, the richest guys I know do not appear it. Yeah. So, Big Block, what are future plans? What are you guys implementing right now that you're really excited about?
Thanks for asking, dude. I'm excited to play in this iBuyer space. We have a couple of tweaks that we're doing to it that I can't talk about. But they're
proprietary.
I'm happy to talk to you offline about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really, really excited about it. I think that I think it does really good for everybody involved. It does good for the client, the agent, everybody. So I'm really, really excited about working on that. We're really excited to we've only been focusing on our local market for growth. We're excited to get out of SoCal and start opening up in different parts of the state and maybe additional states. And by maybe, I mean yes. So
it's happening.
And then just continuing to better our offering. There's companies out there, dude. Like I look at Compass and I'm like, man, that's cool. They're always trying. They're always doing new things. And that motivates me to want to continue to find different ways for us to reinvent and add different value and services. So I'm excited to just have a lot of fun and try some new things and see where it takes us.
So, other question, a lot of people have the dreams of expansion, right? What are the big challenges when it comes to dropping your flag in a new state or new area that you haven't been before?
Well, I think it depends on how you're expanding. Like if it's going to be corporate expansion, partnered expansion, whatever it may be. If you're expanding yourself, the biggest challenge is time and money, right? Like how and who and stuff like that. Generally, if you're expanding yourself, you have a confidence in your systems and you have a confidence in your tools and the way you do things, and you should find markets that you think will match what you're doing well and take it on well. But the challenge there is certainly going to be time and people, bandwidth, stuff like that. If you're doing it through partners, then the challenge is going to be finding the right people. One of the smartest people I've ever met in real estate, huge investor. Like, to him, he keeps saying, I want fewer, better relationships. I want fewer, better relationships. His whole thing was, with 6 really strong relationships, you can make almost anything happen.
Yeah.
And I think that through expansion, you need to just really focus on people. I think we get really excited about expansion, and we focus on expanding, and we focus on the idea of making more money and how fun and the ego and all that, and we don't do enough of the due diligence to make sure we're doing it the right people in the right place.
I love it. Yeah, it's the old 80-20 rule, right? You look at, you're getting 80% of your business probably from the top 20 relationships, 20% of the relationships you have. So that's awesome stuff. All right, now really sell me. I want you to sell me as hard as you can. Let's talk closing table. Let's talk some of these events you're doing. What do you have going on the whole mastermind front? And I want to preface this. There's a million events to go to, right? I mean, I'm looking at all of them this year, and I love going to these things, but I can't go to all of them. What are you guys doing different at yours?
So let me say, dude, that I am a product of events.
Yeah.
So I am where I am because the events I attended, the masterminds I was a part of, the books I read, the coaches I hired. I think it starts and ends with environment. What makes the things that I'm involved with different is really one or two things. One, closing table is not for everybody. It's really a room that's designed for the top movers and shakers in real estate. And I say that just because it's either for you or not. And I'll say that closing table is a place that's small, it's intimate, but it's just really luxurious, awesome. And anyone you sit next to, you're probably going to leave that conversation thinking, man, what the heck am I doing with my life? And to me, a good example of being in the right room, and I think this all the time when I go to closing table and hang out with these super successful people, is I have a lot of cool things going on, dude. We're doing well, but I'll leave a conversation, I'll leave that weekend, and I'll think to myself, man, all this opportunity, what the heck am I doing with my life? I could be doing so much more.
Yeah.
So closing table is just a place for you to know that you're hanging out with the best of the best, people that are where you want to be, are where you are, and you build relationships. You're going to learn content that you're really not going to get anywhere else.
What was your favorite thing that you pulled from your last event?
I have 2 highlights. One of them was from, actually, funny enough, my cousin came and spoke. His name is Evan Faranick. He runs a huge couple of investment firms where they're buying like high rises in Beverly Hills type stuff.
Nice.
And I knew he was doing well, dude, because my family, myself, my dad, we invest in syndication deals, and I always knew he was doing well. I had no idea how well he was doing. And I thought that I was thinking big. Man, this guy, no joke. I mean, he showed us case studies. One of his properties they bought for $200 million. They're exiting for $400 million. Another property they're in for $12 million. They're exiting $65 million. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm scratching my head. This is my cousin, bro. Like, I see it. I'm gonna be with him on Thanksgiving. I grew up with the guy. So that was just it.
What did he get you for Christmas last year?
Pardon me?
What did he get you for Christmas last year?
Nothing. But I'll tell you, it really motivated me that real wealth is not in like a lot of the things that I'm doing. It's playing that bigger thinking mindset game, and that was awesome. So I'm really, really interested.
Let me pause you there, because I think you hit on something that I see a lot of people. I mean, I just had some guy text me yesterday saying, I really want to get into investing. There is a progression though, right? And although there is a certain amount of, like, go after the big stuff, there's a certain amount of patience that it takes to build the brick house that can withstand the storm, that can build the wealth, right? And so, all that stuff sounds great. And what I worry is like people get sold on some $40,000 apartment investing course because they want that when they haven't done the steps to get there. So, what do you think it takes to get there? For really start from nothing to get there, what should people be doing?
Let me address on the $40,000 investment course idea. I think if you're buying like a $40,000 course as a shortcut, or as like a magic wand, it's not for you. Yeah. The $40,000 course, when I buy stuff like that, I look at it as like another employee. I look at it as like a consultant. I look at it as something to help me see what I'm doing or not doing. But I'll say that it starts with me, again, with environment. There's some great people, Kent Clothier being one of them. You don't have to buy stuff until you're ready. But I think it starts with education, dude. There's so much education out there on how to get started. I'll tell you what happened to me is I've always done the flips and the single stuff. And then my business partner, Oliver, got into I think 18-door complex in Arizona. And him and some buddies each put up some money. And I just watched it from the outside. I didn't get involved. And I watched the ups and the downs. I watched the challenges and the fires. I mean, one of their buildings, their units caught on fire, all that stuff. So watching is to me where it starts. So if you have money to play, maybe play in someone else's gig first, which is what Oliver did, right? He wasn't in charge. He invested with someone that was already investing. He put his money in, he watched, and we both learned a ton from it. So I think that it starts with environment education and starting slow. And then outside of that, I think, and I could be wrong, the difference between a $200,000 deal and a $2 million deal is just a couple of zeros or a zero. Yeah. The processes are the same. Yes, you have to get more money, and yes, there's different challenges. So I'd say do a couple small deals, make sure you're feeling comfortable, and then go from 200 to 400, 400 to 800, and take your time with it. So I don't know if that answers your question, dude, but I'm still learning that myself. I like it. No, I like the take. I just know people want to be millionaires tomorrow and don't necessarily, like you said, want to go from the 40,000 of the fit and then roll up to the bigger stuff. Because I have seen a lot of people try to do the bigger stuff and lose their shirt because they hadn't done the small stuff yet. Dude, it's always going to take longer than you want and cost more than you want. And the people that make it quick oftentimes lose it quick. So don't be that person. Go look at, there was an image rolling around Facebook. Warren Buffett's net worth by like 5-year chunks. At age 30, it was worth like, I don't know, 6 million. And then he went to like 12 million. And then the jumps just started getting bigger and bigger. And one year he went from being worth 60 million to 5 years later, he was worth like 620 million. But that was like, he was like 50 years old at that point. Yeah. Warren Buffett's not young. Yeah. So I'm saying it takes time, shortcuts. There's no shortcut to any place worth going. There really isn't. So you got to take your time. You got to be smart. And yeah, I mean, that's the answer there, dude. Just get in where you fit in. Don't swing too hard. I'm not saying don't think big, but don't go from flipping a $200,000 house to trying to buy a $200 million high rise in Beverly Hills. Yeah. And if you're not crushing it on the $200,000 house, like that's my problem. Over. Yeah. You got guys that are, long story. But anyways, look, I got you at 3. I know we started a little late, so I'm glad I got to keep you for as long as I did. What do you want to leave people with? If you got one thing, you got agents watching this, you got agents listening to this. We're coming into a 19 where there's a lot of unsure, like there's a lot of things in the air. Interest rates are going up. Donald's up there talking about stuff. Like, what do you want to tell agents so they can crush it in 19? That's a great question, dude. I'm going to say that you're right. Things are changing. We don't know what 2019 is going to look like. There's a lot of speculation, all of these things. But I'll tell you, as someone that's been in when it was good and been in when it was bad and been in between, and you'll either get this or you won't, but I hope that people do. When it's good or it's bad, the deals are still there. They don't go anywhere. They just look
Mm-hmm.
different. They take longer. It's ABC instead of XYZ. I'll tell you, my most successful friends in the business, the most successful realtors and teams I know, are quietly, respectfully in the background applauding this change. It's going to be
Yeah.
healthy, and the strong people make more money in the tough markets. So make the decision today that you're going to invest in yourself. You're going to invest in your education. You're not going to sit back and just wonder how, but rather put yourself in environments where you can make sure that you're the person at the front of the change as opposed to the person that's getting drugged all the way in the back.
One tactic to do that. Give me just one nugget.
One nugget to be in front of change.
Yeah, one tactic to stay in front of all the stuff you're talking about.
Reading and thinking. I know it's boring, but I think it's the most underutilized thing in most people's business, dude. I'll tell you, like right now in my company, I'm really trying to position myself so that I spend most of my time learning and thinking. And I believe that as the leader of your organization, you really have to have time for that. Warren Buffett, back to that, I read a study that he spends like 80% of his days reading and thinking, reading and
Okay.
thinking.
So my small pushback on that would be, I mean, you're the leader in an organization. You're building something out. Warren Buffett's Warren Buffett. He's building something out. So he's spending 80% of his day reading and thinking, reading and thinking. If you're doing that, I think you need executioners, right? Because you're going to come up with these ideas. You're going to have these things that you're going to put into place. They're going to be awesome.
Yep.
So what do you look for in kind of what I call an executioner, right? Like, who do you need in place to be able to spend 80% of your day reading and thinking?
So let me be clear with, I was not suggesting that everyone should spend 80% of their time.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean that either. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, and I hope that one day I could get there. So it starts with, like, I don't know, but I'd be willing to bet that the large majority of the people that watch this or that we know aren't even reading, let alone reading and thinking. Like, it
or
just
can
starts
read.
with, like,
I mean, if we're talking Tristan Almada stuff, we got to worry about reading in general, you know?
So it just, like, if you just read for 30 minutes before you went to bed, your brain will do the thinking while you're sleeping, and you'll wake up with great thoughts. That's one of my favorite things to do is I read right before I go to bed. Just like whatever you think about before you fall asleep, you dream about all night.
I like it.
Something, and you'll do the thinking while you're sleeping, and you'll wake up with ideas, and you'll write them down and put that aside. But you ask me, who's the good executioner? Who's someone that can really come in and get things done? And I'll give you a tool, and I'll tell you who I think it is. To me, there's one book that has given me the roadmap, or us the roadmap, on a lot of this stuff, and it's called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes.
All right. You're the second person that's mentioned that to me this month.
Dude, it's so good. It's so damn good. It's going to teach you about how to position your marketing, how to hire, how to manage, how and who goes where. And very early on, dude, I learned that you could have an employee or someone that works at your company that's on the wrong seat of the bus. And the moment they get on the right seat of the bus, things start working. Yeah. So read that book. It's huge. I'll tell you that for the executioner position, to me, it's the type of person that is very confident. They're almost like the jock in college and high school that was like all about, like, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can take it to the end zone. Yeah, I can get the date. Yeah, I can do that. Like, I think it starts with really strong confidence, not because you want them to be a bulldozer, but because you want them to be able to take all of the hits and the blows and the challenges and continue going. So to me, that's generally going to be a driver and influencer type person, an I or a D in DISC. And then you got to have hungry people, dude. Like, the hungrier they are for the things that they want to achieve in their life, the more that they'll go through to achieve it.
I love it. Good stuff. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook /the90. You can learn about us on our website, Closing Table, Deep Dive 2018, whatever. And if you have any questions, send me a DM.
All right. Well, look, I'm going to put a link in the podcast notes here for the closing table and for the ultimate sales machine. So, Sam, thanks for having coming on, and dude, I'm excited to see what you guys have going in the future.
Hey, dude, continue doing what you're doing. I love these things. Thanks for having me on and being such a great host. Hopefully, we get to do it again.
Thanks, brother. Chat soon.